All these problems are international in their nature. They require the development and application of new critical technologies in politics and economics. To address these problems, Russia proposes to change the global financial architecture, to review the role of existing institutions and create new ones. Institutions that would effectively ensure stability. Any crisis is also a way of resolving natural contradictions, and we need to take advantage of it fully in order to cleanse ourselves and to prolong and maximize the period of growth of our economies. Time has not been lost yet. It is important that today the realization has come of the need for a multipolar world, and also the realization that globalization is a complex process. Back in the 1990s, we saw the inefficiency of a unipolar economic model. Its pillars, the IMF and the World Trade Organization, lost a lot of their credibility. And more recently, a whole series of problems has been generated by the weakening dollar. Now, right in front of our eyes, we are witnessing the fragmentation of the international financial system. The example of the United States, and not only the United States, shows us that the transfer from self-regulated capitalism to financial socialism is only one step. We can see the readiness to nationalize one asset after another. New factors of stability against this background would be the establishment of new financial centers and strong regional currencies, which has already taken place in Europe. I'm referring to the economy of the European Union and the existence of a powerful regional currency, the euro. Russia will intensively support the process of rehabilitation of the international financial system, not only within the framework of the G8. It is clear that within the G8 it will not be possible, and I've noted that many American colleagues have already started speaking about this. I intend to take on board other key economies: China, India, Brazil, Mexico, South Africa, maybe other economies as well. In any case, Europe should not be a weak and vulnerable link in this chain. Globalization will be accompanied by increasing role of governments as guarantors of national development, and collective structures of global governance will act as arbiters, ensuring compatibility of national economic strategies. In this context, I believe I consider timely the idea of the President of France to hold a multilateral meeting to address the problems that have piled up in the international financial system. I also consider noteworthy his proposal to create a common economic space for the European Union and Russia. This way, it will be easier for us to ensure sustainability and competitiveness of our economies and create a new atmosphere of our relations. We could also start the discussion about the future of the European continent. What is at stake is the role of Europe in the global economy and the establishment of a just and fair world order. Russia, historically, has been part of the European civilization, and we, as Europeans, are not indifferent as to what values will underlie the world of the future. A few words about the crisis in the Caucasus. I believe that exhaustive assessment of its causes has already been provided. We have taken all the necessary decisions. The motivation behind those decisions is clear to everyone, I hope. I would also like to inform all those present here that tonight, by midnight, the peacekeeping contingent of the Russian Federation will leave the secure area in South Ossetia and Abkhazia. Now, when in security zones along the perimeter of the borders of South Ossetia and Abkhazia with Georgia, EU observers have been deployed. We want them to live up to their functions and act as guarantors of the non-use of force, who could prevent any provocations on the part of the Tbilisi regime. This is what we agreed upon with the European Union. The fact that the situation is dangerous and the possibility of provocations have been demonstrated more than once recently, following the explosion near the headquarters of the peacekeeping forces in Tskhinval. Again, Russian peacekeepers have died. This is another cruel crime, and of course, those responsible for it will be punished. I would like to hope that the tragic page in the history of the Caucasus has been turned, and I would like to emphasize once again the constructive role of the European Union in the search for peaceful options of overcoming the crisis in the Caucasus when other forces were unwilling or unable to do so. It was in the European Union that we found a proactive, responsible and pragmatic partner. I believe that this is proof of the maturity of relations between Russia and the EU. Now we need to decide how we should live further on after the crisis, how we can prevent new turbulence, and how can we cement the foundations of international security as a whole. Dear colleagues, dear ladies and gentlemen, today we can not we have to recognize today that the aggression has not been stopped by multilateral diplomacy, by regional mechanisms, or the entire European architecture of security as a whole. The so-called NATO-centrism has demonstrated its defective nature. We need to draw conclusions from this. The contemporary Euro-Atlantic region needs a positive agenda. The events in the Caucasus have only reaffirmed the absolute correctness of the idea of concluding a new treaty on European security. It could serve to create a united and unified and reliable system of comprehensive security. The system should be available to all states without isolating anyone, without zones with varying degrees of security. It is called upon to unite the entire Euro-Atlantic region based on a level playing field. And for many years to come, it should put in legal terms, in the format of a legally binding document, guarantees of security. My partners often ask me, what will be new in this treaty? Here in Evian, for the first time, I would like to present concrete elements of such a treaty as I see it.